What's up, residents? Alistair here, and I'm joined by my sweet baby boy, Jacob.
Hello, everyone.
Now, we're of course massive Godzilla fans. We wouldn't be making Godzilla videos if we weren't, but it's safe to say that, I'm talking about me, I'm pretty sure it's the same for you, neither of us would have even known about Godzilla if it wasn't for the 1998 film. Now, obviously the film is divisive, to say the least, but the animated series actually has a much better reception from fans. But there's a lot of people out there that hasn't actually given a chance since it's connected to the 1998 film. So today, let's ask the question, should you give Godzilla 1998 another chance? So, we're going to be doing this hypothetical scenario, because it's been a while since I've watched the series, but Jacob, you've watched it quite recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I bought the season on DVD and I've went through them. I think I watched the whole entire series within the last few years, but I've watched an episode here and there, and honestly, I love the show so much to the point to where back in the day, I would actually have my dad use our VHS player, and we had a bunch of old tapes. He would actually go and record them from the TV, the old-fashioned ghetto way of doing things, just so I could go back and watch the videos.
With adverts and all.
Yeah. And it was pretty cool. So I've watched it recently and I've been refreshed, and there's a lot more episodes. There's 40 some episodes in there, so it was a big season.
Yeah, I think it aired on Fox over in the UK. I'm not sure where it aired on in the UK.
Fox Kids.
Fox Kids, yeah, that's the one.
Remember that. Yeah, good times. I miss those days.
So we're going to do a hypothetical scenario where I'm just, let's say, your average Toho or Legendary Chad, and I've never actually watched the series because there's such a bad reception around the 1998 film, so I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere near that. So what do you have to say to me to try and convince me that I should give the 1998 series a chance?
Alright, so if you're just a Toho fan that never gave it a chance because you didn't like the 98 way of how they did Godzilla, sure, I get you. Well, here's the thing. The Godzilla, or Zilla as you may want to call it, animated series, honestly, hits every single classic Toho bullet point of how to make a Godzilla video possible. Because one, there's a new monster pretty much every episode. I think the complete lineup of monsters in the show is insane. I think it's pushing almost 100 if you count all the little smaller kind of critters and less kaiju-y sort of monsters. There's so much variety of monsters in here. So much more. I love the Monsterverse, but they're going over here introducing 10 monsters. This Zilla animated series had dozens of monsters. So that alone is awesome. On top of that, it actually has a real good connection with the human characters and Godzilla. So a lot of the Toho Godzilla movies really focus on human characters, hell, a lot more than Godzilla. This, with the Heat team, I think that it's a perfect combination of badass science, badass combat, and then you even have goofiness with Virgil and all that going on. So it's just a good...
Nick Totopoulos in it, isn't it? It's got him...
It's got Nick, so you have a little bit of some of the classic character, or not classic, some of the original characters from 98, they kind of brought back in cartoon form, made them a little bit more cool, I guess you could say. And kind of, I don't know, they just nail the humans and they nail the monsters, and Godzilla is actually Godzilla. You can't go and say that this isn't a respectable version of Godzilla. So he has fire, flame, atomic breath. That's really cool. He's completely capable in fights. He can avoid...
He can sprint 300 miles per hour, which I actually discuss in my new Godzilla, which one's the most powerful Godzilla video, which is coming next week.
Zing.
Zing.
Yeah, but and he can dig instantly. I don't know, it's just it is a true monster experience, and if you consider yourself a Toho diehard and you never gave the 98 cartoon a chance, you should, because I think you'll really like it. So yeah, that's how I would answer it with those folk.
Nice. So does it live up to the name of Godzilla though? Because in Zilla, or Godzilla 1998, he dies from some missiles. Obviously, is not much focus on him actually being a force of nature. It's kind of just he's like an animal that's like just washed up on shore, and he's like, oh shit, I need to get out of it.
Yeah, and I understand why a lot of, the classic Godzilla fans wouldn't necessarily like that. Like, how dare he get killed by 12 missiles? Well, 12 missiles is pretty intense. He is just an animal. I kind of always liked it about the movie. I hate how he died because I like the creature, but honestly, it's a little bit more like a King Kong sort of storyline. I feel like 98 was like a Godzilla King Kong movie because he dies at the end, and like Nick even says some sort of like, it was beauty that killed the beast. Now, he didn't say that, but like almost something similar to that.
It was the same vibes. He definitely felt sorry for the creature.
Yeah, so it's exact same vibes because it's just like this poor animal that's just trying to live and have babies, and then us pesky humans are just being assholes, and it doesn't know what's going on.
I hate when I try and go into the city and I try and have babies, and they keep shooting at me. Why do
they
they do that?
Kill your babies, they blow them all up. Like, what the hell?
It's ridiculous.
But with kind of going back and finishing your question, like, why is the Zilla or Godzilla from the series like actually Godzilla? Because, well, he can do all the cool stuff. Like, he has atomic breath. He doesn't just die instantly with different things, and like he can handle. He's smart. He's quicker. He's bigger than Zilla, so he's a little bit more like Godzilla, like a lot more. He's kind of in between. I think a lot of people would respect that. And his relationship with Nick, he imprints on him. I know if you ever did watch the 98 Godzilla movie, you would know that at the end of the movie it has this scene to where the one baby Zilla is still alive and it bursts out and then it cuts to the music or whatever. That's actually supposed to be the Godzilla that we see in the series. That was just made for, they were hoping to make a sequel of the actual movie, but in the cartoon they kind of redo that scene a little bit. Nick ends up going back to kind of explore and like look at the scene post Godzilla. And then the egg, he finds the egg, the new Godzilla bursts out, imprints on Nick, runs off, disappears for a few months, comes back, and he's kind of the size of, like, Showa Godzilla, or maybe not quite.
Well, he's 70 meters, so around 230 to 240 feet, which is actually bigger than quite a substantial amounts of Godzillas.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, that's when he's full grown, but there's one episode in the series that he comes back and he's only probably like 70 feet tall because he holds a human
like 3 stories or something.
Yeah, he's like King Kong size kind of, and that scene's really cool because it actually shows blood and like humans are actually shooting at him and being.
Isn't that where he licks Nick because he thinks he's gonna eat him, but then he gives him a lick.
Yeah, because he's still sizable enough to like hold a human and be like, oh, you're my dad, like it's really kind of cute and touching. And then he's almost getting killed, and then Nick saves him, and that sets up the series to be what I think is a true, respectable, classic Godzilla story experience where a group of humans follow Godzilla and they go and fight monsters together. So it truly is a classic. It sounds like Godzilla Toho to me. Movie. Yeah, it's a classic Toho movie. I
remember I made the video about the unmade Godzilla 98 sequel, which it starts off the same as the series. He goes to look at the, where all the eggs were, and he finds the baby Godzilla, and he imprints upon him. And then he, in the future, goes to find him in Australia, and then they go to find and fight giant wasp monsters called the Queen Bitch. And actually, loads of people in the comment section said they really liked that idea, and they wish that it was made. And it's like, I've got news for you. It was made. It was called Godzilla the series. So if you actually do think it's interesting, then you definitely should give Godzilla the series a chance, because it is definitely a fun time.
Yeah.
So we definitely recommend it. But to switch up the question here, would an adaptation work in modern day? Because obviously we've got Camp Cretaceous, which has actually proved to be really successful with the 30-year-old Jurassic Park fans. So would, say, a resurgence of this Godzilla the series style maybe work in the modern day? It'd probably be done in 3D, because we don't have cool-looking 2D animations anymore. But would you reckon that would work?
Well, here's the thing. I think it would definitely work, and there's a bunch of reasons why. Now, one quick real note. You just said that there's no 2D series being made. Well, this Skull Island animated series that apparently is happening will be made by the 2D studio that designed Castlevania, as well as the recent Witcher series. So they have proven that 2D animation is still here to stay. Honestly, I like 2D animation better still because I think you can do more with it, and it just it's not trying to look real. It's definitely
a lot more like stylistic and artistic, but it's just so much more time consuming than making a 3D model and animating it.
Yeah, so it is harder, but I guess they could do something with that. But it's proven that they could go either way. But you're right, they would probably do this new CG way like Camp Cretaceous. I think
obviously that's two different audiences as well. Camp Cretaceous realistically is a kids show, and it's a pretty good kids show. It's got pretty good writing. Castlevania, it's an adult show. Very adult show. That's a very adult show.
And I feel like
Skull Island is probably going to be more adult if the Castlevania series has anything to say about it. So do you reckon the monster niche could be filled in by a kids show or something in the kind of the Camp Cretaceous tone with Godzilla?
I think you're right. I think they would have to find that kind of in between Camp Cretaceous and, let's say, Castlevania or whatever this Skull Island series is going to be made. We know that studio does not hold back. There is going to be people being ripped apart. We're going to see monsters eating people. It's going to be gory. But yeah, but Camp Cretaceous, it is made to be a kid's show, but I'm pushing 30. I know people, a few of my friends who are watching it with their kids, and they're like, oh wow, this is actually kind of cool. Like it's made for both, they wanted to hit both factors there. They wanted to hit the nostalgia of us old people, us old farts, and then they also wanted us to be able to watch it with our kid and not, be any weirded out by it. But yet they still hit the classic Jurassic vibes, and they do that really right. So I think a Godzilla animated series would have to be somewhere in between, still kind of centered for kids, but not quite as goofy. I don't want to follow a bunch of little kids that are like, oh, it's Godzilla, because I'd rather be just like what we did with Heat, a bunch of grown-ups that know what the heck they're doing and know what they're talking about. But you can still make that in a fashion that's not, that's
so you're saying you don't want a little animated Millie Bobby Brown?
No, not at all. No, she can, no. So yeah, but it would definitely work. I feel like that niche is entirely open. There's nothing out there right now that is a monster, kid friendly, that's also enjoyable with adults series out there right now. The niche is open.
I know there's a King Kong Netflix animated show, but that's very much for babies. It doesn't fill the niche.
Is it new?
No, it's quite old. I think
it's the one from the early
King
thousands
of the eighth world or something like that. And it's very, very much for babies. It looks like
it's like 5-year-old TV.
That Paw Patrol or whatever that thing is.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. So there's nothing really there for that 10-year-old kind of younger teen sort of audience that's also enjoyable because by older people, because that's kind of what the Godzilla animated series was. When it came out, I was 8, 9, 10, somewhere around that range by the time it came out on TV and all that. So that age group, they're let's just say 8 and up or 8 to whatever is not really being hit right now. And the only issue I would say is that is Zilla and Godzilla still popular enough to warrant that? And now maybe not, unless they really do a nostalgia trip and actually bring back the original characters and style from the animated series. But I don't think they would do that. I think that's just a thing of the past now. But a new one based on Legendary would freaking really work because we don't know where Godzilla's at. We don't know what he's doing.
And the thing about Godzilla vs. Kong is I think the reason I like that film so much is because that actually kind of feels like a live action version of an episode of Godzilla the series, because we follow the team as they follow Godzilla. They're on Godzilla's side, and obviously they're trying to figure out why he's doing what he's doing, and it feels like an episode.
It does.
I think it's my way why I like it so much.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely has that vibe. And if you liked Godzilla vs. Kong and you like that style of really just humans following the monsters and just being whoa, look how cool they're doing, and then occasionally helping them, then the animated series, does it even better than Godzilla vs. Kong, because I think the humans are actually a lot more. You learn to actually like them a lot more. Where in Godzilla vs. Kong,
Godzilla definitely acknowledges them more.
yeah, like
They're like
definitely a
friends.
team.
Godzilla and Legendary Godzilla is just like, who are these people that are following me?
Yeah. So you don't really get that sort of vibe. Whereas with the animated series, they really made it seem like they're a team. Godzilla's part of the team. He's still a giant, uncontrollable monster. But at the end of the day, his relationship with Nick kind of makes it to where he's almost like a dog, like a really giant, destructive dog.
Which makes him so lovable. He's a lovable monster.
If they could nail that with a new series, I think they would have to use Legendary Godzilla or maybe something like him that just kind of resembles him. They'd have to be placed in the MonsterVerse because I just feel like that.
Well, they just need to do what they're doing with Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah.
It's canon, but it's got its own storyline and it works well. It suits the tone.
Yeah.
It would definitely work.
Yeah.
Do it, Legendary.
Yeah, there's nothing out there.
Hire us.
And they may be working on something right now because they're being mysterious right now with there was a quote back right after Godzilla vs. Kong where one of them dudes was like, there's a lot of different stories and routes we can go with the MonsterVerse that doesn't have to be a AAA blockbuster. We spent $300 million and got a lot of gray hair to make this thing. So I think we're in for some updates. It might not be anytime soon, but that Skull Island series is definitely going to be really cool. And I think it honestly will kind of fill the void that we'll get. And then maybe if that does well, we'll get kind of a sequel or a spiritual sequel to the Godzilla 98 animated series. But if you haven't seen it, it's super. Go back to it and watch it, and it might change your way of looking at Godzilla.
Definitely give Godzilla the series another chance. I think that's about done it. I think we've got our point across. We love it. It's got great monster battles, great stories, great characters, and Godzilla himself is just fantastic. Stay tuned next week for which Godzilla is the most powerful. I've been Alistair, and you are...
I think I'm Jacob, at least currently.
You think you're Jacob? I mean, I bloody hope so. And we'll see you, residents, in the next one.